Welcome to Substack.
Yes, my first time. Thank you for inviting me. It's been an interesting day, as you said. But thank you for doing this, Angela, and being the one of the voices for PCOS patients.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, yeah.
I can't believe all the media attention PCOS has gotten today. Like everybody
I
is
know that was
posting
by
about it.
design, and that's actually I think it's a great opportunity to continue to highlight um, what the actual needs and priorities are for those impacted by PCOS. Um, but yes, it's going. I think it's going to take time. I think it's going to take more time um, than they anticipated, but that we have no idea because there was no impact assessment of how would this
How is this
impact.
going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people who are maybe tuning in, they're the authors. Well, Sasha and I were both part of the committee that were on the name change committee. That was like a process that we can talk about, but it was published today in the Lancet, and the main author and the other main authors suggested it's going to be a 3-year transition to transfer PCOS to PMOS. PMOS, the new name of PCOS, which stands for polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome. It is a lot of words. I already saw people messing it up.
Oh, it's definitely going to take some
They were
time.
calling, I
And
saw some people calling it polymetabolic ovary syndrome. I'm like, you forgot the
oh,
endo, polyendo.
yeah, that's no, we
Yeah,
can't call it polyendo because endo is endo, like endometriosis. Um,
yeah.
so yes, actually, or PCOS Challenge has been a part of the name change process since 2015. Um, we contributed to the surveys. Um, we added uh, we added questions on the surveys that we thought would um, kind of better reflect some of the questions that patients may want to ensure is asked. And we participated in workshops. A workshop back then, the process stalled, and actually back then, PMOS or PMOS or none of these new name options were on the table. It was between metabolic reproductive syndrome and reproductive metabolic syndrome, and maybe a couple of others. Um, However, with one of the reasons for change being stigma, or actually, no, I think that came further down the line. But uh, yeah, there was no way that we would have voted for something to be called Mrs. or metabolic reproductive syndrome. Um, but actually, that would have translated better from English to other languages. But
And
still,
this really wasn't a process back then, right? It was just like, hey, let's name it this. And a lot of people objected at the time, right?
yeah. So in 2012, there was another convening, which I wasn't a part of that. It was actually, there were no patients a part of that. Um, Researchers, clinicians, whoever decided that the name needed to change. They did it at a workshop at the National Institutes of Health, called the name an impediment. And that's where this whole thing started to try to change the name. And if you recall, Angela, this is not the first time PCOS has gotten a name change. The original name was Stein-Leventhal syndrome,
Right.
and then sometime
I don't
back
know
in
how it got changed to PCOS from
no,
Steinlein. I was
it
never clear.
was it was a little secretive, I think. So so they wanted to address that. So nobody knew how it got changed, but they also had other names: PCOD, polycystic ovary disease, which is still used in some parts of the world. Um, and but that process stalled, and in 2023, I know the UK-based patient group wanted to re, you know, wanted to pick that effort back up and partnered with the Australian group out of Monash to do that. Um, so here we are, years later, many workshops, many surveys later, and we can talk about all of that. Um, and so now that's what's the new proposed name is, polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah. So the reaction, how about let's talk about that?
You know what? The reactions are mixed.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job of marketing this process, um, to based on what we'll say are they've biased they've biased quite a bit of people, um, through research, through the surveys, through for almost 20 years, no, almost 15 years of telling people the name needs to change. um, and make no mistake, I think the focus on the polycystic ovaries, um, was, that was never the appropriate um, name that encapsulated what PCOS, the condition, is.
Right.
So, however, is PMOS,
Yeah.
is polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome. So but the reactions have, like, they have varied from, yeah, this is great, to it will always be PCOS to
Yeah.
me. Um, what is it? What's my condition going to be called now? Can I get a diagnosis now? How is this going to impact my health care? These are the real problems that we need to focus on,
Right.
Angela, right?
Right.
How is this
What?
transition going to impact patient care, patient access to medications, patients access to um, just diagnostic laboratories? How is this going to
Yeah.
impact it?
One of
We
my
don't.
favorite comments by somebody was, I don't care what they call it, just something my insurance is going to cover.
That's
You
it.
know?
That's it. That's
Which
all
brings
we
me to my questions about like insurance. So the IDC 10, like the filing is in October and April, from what I understand, to
have.
change the codes. What do you know what's involved in changing the codes and
So,
how
a
that
lot of
gets
this
approved?
has been shrouded in, um, you know, there are lots of questions. There's a lot of confusion because of how the rollout
Yeah,
has
there's been
occurred,
no
right?
dissemination of information now. Here's the name, here was the process. I mean, I know they
Kept
published
it.
a framework, but what, how does this happen?
How does it happen?
Yeah,
Indeed. So, I mean, they have a plan, and we all are supposed to follow the plan, right? So, and accept that this is happening. And but we still have questions, concerns that I think need to be addressed before ICD. This is included in ICD 10, um, and EHR. So that's electronic health records, or ICD, the international code, um, that that gives you your diagnosis, that helps with payers reimbursing your doctors.
Yeah, that's the coding. That's your code. Your
That's
identifier of having PCOS is that ICD-10 code, and that
how you
needs to
get
change.
access to laboratory
Yeah,
tests,
everything.
all of it.
So right
So
now it's going to stay PCOS until they're able to change it, which, from my understanding, is not going to be till October at the earliest that they can change it.
yeah, and hopefully they'll answer some of our questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
about
it's nice to have another Zoom like committee meeting, like we had with the process of the name change, but haven't heard any of that. Yeah.
no, from what they've engaged with me on or with us on is dissemination. And so that's, just send out this information, send out these things that we don't necessarily align with, right? So to be clear, PCOS Challenge is not against a name change. We never have been. We have questions about the process, um, how inclusive the process was, and the things that can really impact patient care that haven't been addressed, haven't been disclosed. So there are issues that I think that still need to be resolved
Yeah. Yeah.
before this goes.
We don't know. We just know that here's this announcement of a new name. There was a process, was published in this big journal called The Lancet today. And that's it.
And there are more publications to come, and some of it is based on opinion. Some of it highlights patient stories. I think it's really great strategy. It's quite political. People really don't know the behind the scenes, like, sometimes really impassioned discussions, if that's what we want to call it. But we believe that this needs to be rooted in scientific evidence, something that is ethically and inclusive of patients' opinions, not just patients, actually. Patients, it should be centered around the patient, but I think other stakeholders, such as healthcare professionals, other researchers, some people are very, very confused and anxious about what this will mean for their work, how it will impact their businesses.
Right. Yeah, like mine, like yours. I mean, I'm the CEO and founder of the PCOS Nutrition Center. Everything on my website is PCOS. The logo, the domain. I have trademarks that I paid a lot of money for. So yeah,
and we brought this up during the process, and it fell on deaf ears. They were not interested in assessing how it was going to impact people.
As long as it helps them, and and your organization is PCOS Challenge, and same thing, PCOS is all over it. So where do you see, like, do you have a plan yet in place of what?
Well, we're not changing the name right away. It's, if we change the name, it will take some time. Just like you, we have trademarks, we have websites, we have 15 plus year, almost 20 years actually, of information, of research, of advocacy work. We've built the advocacy infrastructure around PCOS. We've built coalitions, bipartisan PCOS caucus. So there are many things, many people that will be impacted by this, and because our work is needed, especially in the US space, to continue to highlight. So our priority is the patient, and we continue to focus on our mission,
Yep.
right? Raising
Yep.
the profile of PCOS, and PCOS needs to be treated as a public health priority. Maybe this will give us, Angela, an opportunity, and that's, I think that's one opportunity that will come from this, is there are many more eyes on PCOS slash PMOS right now. And hopefully, when the news cycle fades, we still acknowledge that at the end of the day, this is about the patient who is struggling, crying in the corner, struggling to get a diagnosis, not knowing what's wrong with her, or another patient who's been trying to get pregnant for years and have no idea why they're unable to conceive because of a lack of diagnosis. So, is this going to make that better? Is this going to complicate things, right?
Yes.
All
Remains.
we care
Yeah.
about, all the work, Angela, yours and mine, is focused on improving the lives and outcomes of people impacted by PCOS.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot still unknown that I don't think anybody knows. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, this was kind of a reset strategy. It's led by endocrinologists, and so that's why this was a major part of the strategy, was to include the metabolic, um, as a part of the name. Uh, and actually, one thing that is glaring to me is the fact that the word ovarian was retained, but that was a part of their case for why the name needs to be changed, right? Um, they
Yeah, that
they
was a big
mentioned
sticking
this.
point in the process that, delayed the changing of the name quite a bit. The ovarian versus ovary versus reproductive, those terms
Yes.
held things up a bit. But yeah, they're still there. Their ovarian is still there. So
So that there are other people who are concerned, and as are we, right? Concerned about, once we do have more information about PCOS, because that's a part of the problem, and it was a part of our objection to this being done too quickly, right? And being rolled out too quickly, is that there's still lack of consensus about, the science of PCOS. They may think because there's a guideline that which is great,
yeah.
but there's still lack of consensus regarding certain aspects of PCOS.
Yeah, like
If there's, mhm,
the gene testing has shown that there's a genetic variant that is in males, that there's a male component of PCOS slash PMOS. And, I'm just will be so sad if the name has to be changed again down the road, which,
oh, no. Yeah. See, that's one of the things we want to prevent, right? So
get it right.
is
Get it right.
PMOS inclusive enough? Is PMOS polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome, um, which, to be clear, does not translate well. So this is not considering how it translates in Italian, how it translates in Swahili, how it translates
Right.
across the globe,
Right.
which was one of our objections to, um, or one of our kind of, we needed to ensure that someone who lives in a village in a country in Africa, is able to get a diagnosis, and, just like someone who lives in London, England, right? Because if you're now complicating a name, and there's going to be a long transition between this year and when that's able to translate and cross cultural boundaries, right? So just changing, just like Google translating something is not the same as, right,
Yeah.
the uptake.
Yeah.
Um, the
So we're going to be in this transition period for 3 to probably more years of a lot of confusion, a lot of slashes, PCOS versus PMOS, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It
Buckle
is,
up,
and then
everybody. Buckle up.
yes, and then there, it's just fragmenting everything, fragmenting messaging, fragmenting um, access to care. You might change your name to PMOS Nutrition Center, and another nutritionist might not have the capability or the capacity to do that for their business, right?
Right.
And so it's just going to be so
I'm
confusing.
already seeing with like the social media handles, like mine has always been PCOS Nutrition, and I went to change it, and someone already took that for PMOS Nutrition. So it's the hunger wars of
Of course,
West
yeah.
happening right now, and domains that are taken, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah,
It is. But Angela, we're still out here doing the good work,
we're here
right?
right now.
Still
We're
here.
doing it. Quite a day. We're doing it.
I'm telling you, it hasn't been an easy day. It has not been an easy day at all. Um, it's it's been quite interesting to see the variety of commentary. I've seen some funny ones. I know we've been talking internally and just had some funny discussions and conversations about it. But yeah, make no mistake, this really is going to be disruptive,
Yeah.
and has been designed to do that, right?
I saw like one comment somebody posted was like, great, not only am I going to have to educate my doctor about what PCOS is, but now that there's a new name for it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've told healthcare providers, a new name is coming. Had crickets, had no clue.
Right.
So I think one big mistake that was made was the lack of transparency. There should have been opportunity for people to absorb this before kind of put it's. But again, by design, because I don't think they want too many opportunities for objections.
Right. Right. Before it was published in the Lancet, and
yes,
yeah, it was under strict.
we were able to keep things under wraps, Angela.
How many months? I mean, it was so hard sometimes to keep it a secret. And I would say there's a name change coming, and
Yes.
I can't lie. My face gives away stuff, but people are like, do you know what the name is? Are you going to tell us? And I'm like, I do, but I signed my life away.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. Non-disclosures right and left that I can't share about it. But how many months do you think we, was it February?
I think it was February. Yeah.
Or
it would have been November, but we didn't achieve consensus. So It's been a really long process for them. I don't know how much money they've spent. They've spent, I'm sure, millions and millions to get this. That's my. I am quite sure, because this process has taken since 2012, but 2015 was when the Monash folks took over this
push to change the name.
Yeah. So so
do you think it was the Australian government that paid for a lot of this, or like grant funding? Like, where did the Australians, because they're so like far ahead of us as far as like PCOS research and their ability to do research. And I'm just
Yeah,
wondering
so
why.
that's
What
what
is it
happens
about the
when your government invests in women's health and invests in research. It's quite that part is shows
yeah,
that things are possible if we're able to get research funding,
yeah,
right? And that's also one of the causes or reasons that this is was able to be done, was because, well, the U.S. government PCOS funding is quite abysmal here, and um, there are many political pieces. So for this team, this was an opportunity for them to kind of take over and lead this because they were
away from Americans in North America and be like, we have the money, we have the resources, the know-all, and it's going to be interesting to see with all the changes at the NIH, National Institutes of Health, if even with a new name, if anything's going to be
they have
done
no idea
in the US.
the
Yeah.
lack of they have no idea how some of these changes happen and the what we've been able to do getting PCOS listed in the research conditions and diseases categories within the NIH. That took advocacy. That took a lot of work. That took
They have
years.
no idea.
They have
Yeah.
they
People
have
from other
no
countries
idea,
have no
or they
idea.
don't care is
Yeah.
one. But they have absolutely no idea all of what it took, how many advocacy days, how many doors we had to knock on, um, how many bills and everything we had to write.
Hours, sweat, tears,
Tears,
sweat,
blood, sweat, tears,
tears.
lots of it.
If anyone is joining us and tuning in, Sasha is with the PCOS Challenge National Polycystic Ovary Syndrome Association, and they host a advocacy day every year. And it's either this past year was virtual, which was kind of neat, but sometimes it's in person, and you can meet with members of Congress, and they set it all up. They do all the work. You just have to show up and tell your story about how this condition has impacted you and to advocate for funding and more research. So definitely, check out PCOS Challenge and join us next year. It's always at the first week of March. So
yeah. Thank you, Angela. And you've been doing it. We've been working together for such a long time. We understand the nuances that are missing that had been missing in this process, that weren't included in this process or were excluded from this process. But as we've said over the past week, we just need to maintain our focus on the mission. And even though I think this is a distraction, and I think this is potentially this is the impediment, right?
we're spending time talking about this new name.
We are, and that's one of the things that we won't feed into as much. We just need to continue doing the work. We have a symposium coming up in September, which we'll of course discuss. We'll have many a discussion on the new name, on everything PCOS. So
yeah, I haven't heard that much about it. Is that for professionals or is that for patients?
It's going to be for both.
Okay.
So yeah, we can talk. We're working with an academic institution, so it takes some time sometimes to get through some of the tape. So I can't wait for everyone. Yes, September 19th. I'll tell you that.
Boston.
In Boston. Yes. Ooh. It will be at the Joseph B. Martin Conference Center at Harvard Medical School. Wow. So
that's where an AE PCOS meeting was, wasn't it? Didn't remember back.
Yes, I don't think I attended that year.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Oh, absolutely, I did. Whew.
Yeah.
I know I attended. I
You were
did
there.
when you were
I
there.
remember I gave a
When you
talk
were
on supplements and
That's
PCOS, and
right.
I just was like blown away how many doctors had no idea like that metformin affected the absorption of vitamin
B12.
B12, and I'm like,
And we have to keep telling people that, and
uh,
getting that included in the guideline, which I think it probably now is written somewhere in the guideline.
yeah, I
So
think so.
that's done by, patients bringing it to and allied health professionals, right?
Yeah,
Which I think have not been included as much in
much.
any of the trends. I find
Well, I know you and I are still going to keep fighting. We're still going to keep helping patients that suffer from this get the care that they need, the care that they deserve, and buckle up. We'll see what's going to happen. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be bumps. There's going to be potholes. There's going to be smooth roads.
I want to see what the positive. I really want to see what the positives will come from, because that's what we want. I don't
Yes.
want to say, "Oh, we told you so." I don't want that at all. I
Yeah.
want for
Step in the right direction.
yes,
Definitely having
yes,
metabolic, focusing on the whole body, because it's not about the ovaries, just the ovaries. And yeah, I just think it's, I kind of wish, I really wish they would have kept the acronym and didn't change the acronym, but just updated it to reflect these endocrine metabolic terms better.
yeah.
So I
I
think it
think
would
they tried that, but again, this is a symptom of the lack of consensus in this field, right? It's very hard. I don't know how many tries to get to a consensus, and the consensus was kind of in some way forced upon you, right? So
yeah.
it took a long time,
Yeah.
because they also had people like us being, kind of the guardrail throughout the process. Yeah.
We tried. Yeah. Well, here we are. It's a new day, new name, and a transition period. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to meet back and continue to talk about this. But I really appreciate your time tonight. I know it's been a long day. You and I were texting before 7 a.m. this morning. So I hope you get a good night's sleep tonight. And
Yes, I'm gonna put my phone on do not disturb.
yeah, no more
Absolutely.
looking at social media today.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I will not. I refuse.
Self-care. Self-care.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Well,
much,
thank
Sasha.
you so much for having me. I
See
enjoyed talking to you, Angela.
miss
And
you.
I really want to thank you, Angela. I echo what I said earlier. You have been one of the hallmark people and doing this work and pouring into the community. And you've helped so many people. You've helped nutritionists and dietitians learn more about PCOS and how to help their clients. You've helped physicians and researchers. You've done research. So I applaud you, Angela, for
Oh, thank you.
continuing to
Well, it's you that inspires me to do this work. So thank you.
inspire each other.
Give your little girl a big hug for me.
I will. Thank you.
Have a good night. I'll
You
talk to you
too.
soon.
Bye.